Blackburn.
Enterprises.
Thank you for coming to my channel. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. Back with a new video, and this video is going to be a little different. Shout out to Tamara and my girl Christian. I'd like to say they're responsible for this video or helping to push me to do this video. And just overall think about all the different things that have been taking place over time. I know we've talked a lot about our feelings about so much that's going on in the world right now, and especially when things first happen, we have a lot of thoughts, we have a lot of raw feelings, and so I think it was best for us, to take our time, and allow ourselves to think and let it meditate on our minds, just so we can actually be able to figure out, how exactly we feel about these different subjects. The first subject that I'd like to talk about is COVID-19. So what were you saying earlier?
I was just saying that we're blessed because even though COVID-19 hit and school closed and all these different things happened, we were able to still work and get paid during that time. We didn't have to file unemployment or anything like that. So we were blessed to have the jobs that we have to be able to continue to work during those times.
Right. But speaking of us being blessed, we can't go unnoticed to speak about all the people that we know that were greatly affected and are still affected now.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people that that have been furloughed. Some people that still haven't been able to go back to work, and it's definitely a stressful situation. I've definitely been in situations where you're wondering where your next paycheck is going to come from, and you have bills and how you're going to be able to pay those bills, and it's really a stressful situation. And I think at times like these, you have to look towards a higher power, to get through those situations.
Yeah.
You have to look towards your friends and your family, lean on them real hard, to help you get through these trying times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully, prayerfully, you have some people to lean on, because some people don't have anybody but them. And so that's a thing too, being able to reach out to outside resources as well during this time.
Right. Another thing is just dealing with just the nervousness of everything. It's something that we've talked about plenty of times. Like beforehand, I was somebody that I would consider that's not a germaphobe.
Yeah.
Like not that I definitely wash my hands when I go to the bathroom or whatever, but I was never that overly nervous person about when somebody sneezes or when somebody coughs or anything like that. But nowadays it's like and I don't know if y'all seen jokes, somebody sneezes or coughs now, it's like,
yeah,
what the,
yeah,
you need to go
take that over there somewhere, way away.
You need to go over there with that.
Yeah.
And then one thing what that we've tried to do is try to be balanced. I know one thing that I continue to have to keep telling you is not to overdo the consumption of information when it comes to that. And like if you look at the news every day, and it's toned down some, but every day is like where we have these many people that have died, we have these many people that are hospitalized, and it can it could be really stressful. And so I think what we try to do is just be aware of what's going on, because you definitely want to understand what's going on, but in the same token, that's not the only thing that's going on. So just being totally consumed about COVID-19. I feel like that was what continues to be our coping mechanism dealing with that.
Yeah, and I did have personal death in the family due to COVID-19. My aunt Jean, and so her funeral is she lives in Flint, Michigan. So they're gonna have her funeral via Zoom, and I think only 50 people can be there. You have to wear a mask. You have to do a walk in and out. There's no lingering, so it's just a whole different way in the lifestyle. You can't even really just sit with your loved one when they go over to the other side, because of risk that may cause. Yeah.
Right. And so so this is another thing. It's just really been a stressful time for a lot of people, especially those that have lost loved ones, not being able to get that closure like you would maybe normally be able to do. Like I know that produces a new set of issues and things to deal with. But again, just like we said at the beginning of this is where you know those relationships that you have, your relationships with God, your relationships with with your loved ones, with family, your relationship with friends, you got lean hard on those, and being able to just if necessary talk to somebody, get those feelings out. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset, to be angry about all of this. But we have to be able to cope. We have to have these coping mechanisms that we use, because otherwise we'll drive ourselves crazy.
Yeah.
So I think one thing to ask you about more specifically to COVID-19, because it pretty much affected all facets of all type of jobs. And one industry that I know that it really affected was those that are in that teachers. So what do you think about, or how has it really affected you being a teacher?
For one, I teach pre-K, so I teach the very first students that come into a school. So we normally get to have a recognition program for them. We normally get to say our goodbyes to them at the end of the school year and pep them up for kindergarten and let them know how smart they are. We had to do that via Zoom this year. We had to close out our classroom via drive-through. So we see our kids with masks on, put their things in their car and send them on their way, which we're not used to. We have a big elaborate so after pre-K graduation type recognition program, and we didn't get to do that this year. We usually have a family picnic that we have with our kids, just to have a fun closeout to their very successful school year, which was cut short because of COVID. And I don't know what the future looks like for August, and you can't have a 4-year-old social distance. That's not a thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I think that you are one of those, again, like I said, those industries that have really hit hard. And I think a lot of y'all are really, especially with the younger kids, they didn't really know how to go about handling the situation and what they were going to do. I think it was a lot easier when it came to high schoolers, to give them laptops and to have a curriculum and pretty much add that, take your curriculum and add that to to the computer. But when you have kids of a young age like that, it's not as easy.
No.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing that we've seen even with Jasmine, with our daughter. She's in college, and even I know they had to deal with
go to remote learning,
right? And they shout out to Jasmine, Nisi, all of them, where and Mo, they had to deal with being in a class and going from a class to remote learning, and it's not one necessarily the easiest thing to deal with.
Teachers wasn't equipped for it. They had never taught online either, so it was brand new for both. They all was able to excel during that time. Right. So even though it was very stressful, it was not easy.
Right. So so it's definitely a stressful time for everyone. But again, not to be redundant, these are those times that we just have to. I think my thing is just try to look at situations. Try to look at your glass half full. Look at things that you can do.
I think it's definitely made us more aware, like you said, of hygiene, and I don't know if many people will be eating potlucks anymore because we don't know what people are doing in their homes. And I mean, it's just making us more aware of cleanliness and hygiene and taking care of our health and things like that. Definitely. Exactly.
So I know definitely during these times, we have to be creative about finding things to take up our time, because there's a lot of places that you can't go. So definitely dusting off some of those old game systems. That's something we did.
Shout out to Jasmine and Mo for going to the pawn shops and they were trying to find Wii controllers and Wii games.
So dusting off that old Wii, playing card games, or just going outside and just walking. One thing that I can say, I feel like, I think, sometimes kids are able to better they're better able to adapt to situations than adults sometimes. Yeah. And one thing that I've noticed, if you want to look for a bright side, is I feel like a lot of kids are falling back in love with going outside. Like beforehand, like I don't remember seeing these many kids like riding their bikes. Yeah. Like you might see a person here, or a kid here or there. But nowadays, like every day, it's about 10 to 20 kids that's outside riding the bikes. Going down, driving to the store. See them driving on the sidewalks and everything. So I think this has been something to help kids to go back to going outside and getting that exercise. Yeah. So that's definitely a good thing, and that's something that we can take from them. It's something we can do with falling in love with going back outside and going for a walk, and just doing things differently. Than what we would do before pre-COVID. All right, so if you want to go ahead and do us a favor, definitely hit that thumbs up button, and also if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can definitely know about those different videos that we post. Yes. And go ahead in the comment section if you want to comment about any of the particular subjects that we've talked about during this time. Particular subjects of police brutality, on white supremacy, on getting out there and voting, on protesting, any of these subjects. So we definitely be interested in hearing what you have to say about these subjects. Yeah. All right. We definitely appreciate y'all coming out and supporting us, and we'll holler at you later. Peace.